Too kid friendly is a level on Geometry Dash with a hidden lore to it. This video is some theories I made up, backed up with some sources being the videos, sequels, description, and comments from the creator of this. Also, some of my own theories may contradict other theories. Before you start commenting, just realize that. Enjoy. In respect of Molly, I am going to be adding a theory 0. Have you ever wondered why the monsters are the color that they are? I believe it has something to do with whoever designed them looked at their birthday or wondered which color they should use, so they decided to use astrology to find the answer. The child actors probably signed their birthday on a waiver, so their character's color is based off their zodiac sign power color. Also, Ufati was meant to be yellow, but the burns he sustained tanned him a bit, so he looks like he has Leo's power color, orange, even though he's a Gemini. Totes is a Cancer, Scrambler is a Taurus, Blue is an Aquarius, Mimi is a Libra, and Molly is an Aries. Keep in mind it's in theory 0 because that probably isn't the case, and this is the most useless theory out of all of them. Victor and the Wishgranter are the same person. I don't know if this would go into the theory category because Ectoplasm replied yes to a comment that asked if the Wishgranter and Victor were the same person. But he also stated that Molly and Blue were Vessel and basically the same person. The difference in that is Molly and Blue are different ages, so it's not the same person. The Wishgranter and Victor's ages aren't stated, but judging how he sent a picture of Ebenezer Byers for how Victor looks jawless. If Victor is jawless and the Wishgranter has a mask on to cover that, they must be the same actual person then. Blue is used by Molly to blame him for her actions. Since Molly has the ability to change genders, or in this case people, she uses that to make it look like Blue is the one at fault. The only difference is that actual Blue has white teeth. This Blue has light yellowish teeth. Molly has yellow teeth herself, so that could symbolize a disguise of Blue. Also, in one scene right before the boss fight in the level, a scaled up Molly shows up. Judging by the way those eyes look, then you have a boss fight with Molly. So Blue isn't actually fighting you. Is Molly to look like Blue is doing it? Molly can't have killed Blue or else she would die, so she probably trapped him somewhere no one could find him. Reunion happened after a meeting. Firstly, Reunion has 3 colored icons. A meeting has 2 colored icons. Those icons also labeled by Mimi being 1, Ufati being 2 and Scrambler being 3 and 0 being Molly. In Reunion, the grass is more dry, the camera battery is lower, and the time is later than in a meeting. Also, for Ectoplasm's too kid-friendly thumbnail, Totes is going to go after Scrambler, and after Totes it's Blue. We see how in one part of the level, Ufati holds a sign that says notes, and there's a text that says I was not the imposter showing up afterwards. You may think that was an Among Us reference. I think it's a reference to something else. There's even some washed out shapes close to that scene that looks similar to a 3-lettered word. Another thing to catch is when Totes grabs Ufati, he says we're not done yet. Ufati replies with he is out of control with a dumb look. The fact they're the only monsters seen close together could mean that they were really good friends, according to me, who wasn't even alive in 2004. You may notice in the description of Ectoplasm's uploaded too kid-friendly video, there's a backstory. The backstory states that the company that made too kid-friendly was a company that used to make animation for kids. My theory is that the cast were mainly members of the Wishmakers organization, along with the animators and script writers, and it all just wasn't that well made. You see how the Wishgranter has a badge that says WM, short for Wishmaker. It was probably Molly's at one point and he wears it with pride because Molly was his daughter. Her one only wish was not to die, I assume, and she wanted to do anything else. He probably found other people who were sick kids in the Wishmakers Foundation who had the same wish Molly had. Promised them another life if they casted in some TV show, planned for Max to hurt them. Victor kidnaps the kids from the nearby Wishmakers owned hospital and let that same person who hurt them put them into the screen machine. Why else would the Wishmakers Foundation have missing posters for them? Victor probably also paid less attention and let the other monsters walk and interact in the TV show, causing her to go full rage mode and hijack everything and ultimately hating her dad afterwards. The landscape in the cartoon is made out of something. Human flesh. I believe when I commented, what obscure location does Too Kid Friendly take place, and Ectoplasm replied with which country is most susceptible to being wiped off the map. I think that question might have been in reverse if the only thing being wiped off the map are people's souls while creating the map in Too Kid Friendly. Country I guess can also be interpreted as a big size of people. If I am wrong about this all, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. You know how Max is thanked specially on the Too Kid Friendly level credits? Because he is the one who probably killed all the monsters. You see how on a meeting, Victor calls out Max for being at the studio at 2 AM in the morning, and he replies with "We're having a meeting." Coincidentally, Scrambler dies at 2:07, literally 7 minutes after the meeting. Maybe during the meeting, Max also said, "Don't be paranoid, we have far bigger fish to fry." Mimi's tongue was violently ripped out by a fish hook. Also at the post that Ectoplasm made says he who wields the murder weapon is truly to be feared. She is not the enemy, he is. It can't be Blue, he's kind of enslaved, possessed, or hiding away. It can't be Victor cause he is rotting away and is very weak. It also can't be Molly cause it states she is not the enemy he is. That would have to be Maximum. It could be Blue, though more likely it's Max based on his history of killing kids and stuffing them into TV shows if that theory is correct. The glitching before the character's death is a distortion to what happened. It shows Ufati dying from dropping a lantern, killing himself, Scrambler being hit by a spiked bumper car and flying, and bleeding out, even though his legs were the injured part, and lastly Toad's eyes getting sucked out by Blue, or Molly. The truth is, we don't know much about how Ufati died except there was a house fire in one scene, though dropping a lantern could cause that to happen, but it's glitched so it's probably wrong. Actually, now that I think about it, this could be fire from a bomb. You know how a bomb drops at one scene? This scene was made to trick you. His house isn't only on fire, the world around is. He's probably far enough from the bomb to not completely evaporate but still sustain third-degree burns everywhere. This fire is most likely the bomb that was dropped, made to trick you. Nice one, Ectoplasm. Scrambler's back wasn't even badly injured, his legs were, and Toad's, we don't know much about. I do have to point out how in one frame, right after Blue's boss fight, there's a kid tied up into a chair with bloodshot eyes, being shot by some muscular looking person. Also in the scene after that, Scrambler shoots himself and that blood looks like it's splattered all over Toad's, probably symbolizing something. That kid's death and Toad's look strangely similar. If it's true, that would mean Toad's was shot by someone muscular. And yes, in case you're wondering, yes, Blue probably hanged himself or was hanged, and Mimi did have a literal fishing hook pull her tongue out. So the glitching was a distortion rather. All the creators of Too Kid Friendly were sucked into the Too Kid Friendly screen. If you count the hands closest to the credits, near the credits there are 8. You can see by using the editor in Geometry Dash the amount of redacted people besides the cast for the monsters and the redacts which names ends with Lee. You'd find 8 redacted people. Also near the beginning before Blue starts attacking, there were 5 big hands were representing the 5 cast members who became the cartoon characters. The other 12 hands are probably characters yet to meet. There is also a missing hand way above the other hands you'd only find in the editor. That hand most likely represents Molly's hand, above the ground, or Victor's Lee's. Theory 9.5. Totes has the ability to see past disguises and even vessels. Maybe he even has the ability to break them. You see how during that weird doll scene, everyone else is looking to the upper right while Totes is looking directly at the screen. The ability to see past things probably made Molly want to get rid of that by sucking out his eyes in the glitched version. The reason he has sunglasses on is to probably see better. Yes, this is a cartoon universe so a lot can happen, I suppose. I also assume not much people believe him until they're proven wrong. And lastly, the entire world is going to end. Or at least Victor thought that. For a cutscene of a plane dropping a bomb onto a city, the Wish Grunter just doing what he had to do yet suffering afterwards, and Blue having cataracts from ionizing radiation. It's normal to assume that something very bad must have happened. There was probably speculation that tensions between a country were at an all-time high, and the location of this story must have been situated in a high-risk zone. Victor probably thought he was doing the right thing by putting kids' souls into machines. What ectoplasm meant by what country is most susceptible to being wiped off the map is what bomb would completely eradicate an entire population. So in theory a bomb had to have dropped onto a city or town, destroying everything, killing everyone in a certain radius, harming people further away, causing them to be bedridden, and ultimately causing a nuclear fallout. The event would only work if it was more than 10 years after the animation studio shut down. The town seems to be completely fine in the description, with a warehouse in only abandoned shape, not nuclear ruins. The one thing that makes me question is how could the wish granter predict something from 10 years? Also, we see how Blue has a close relationship to Molly, and he's 11. I don't really know if, when ectoplasm stated their ages, if that was the age they were when they signed up or when they got killed. Blue would have had to die 10 years later to get radiation poisoning from the bomb along with Victor, unless they died from something else. Maybe the bomb happened in 2004 and the town made an ultra quick recovery, but the government would have likely made it into a closed off contaminated Superfund site, even if it wasn't located in the US. It also could have been an imaginary vision that the wish granter put into his cartoon dimension, or someone served Victor radioactive water that caused his jaw to fall out and sprayed Blue with nuclear wastewater, or maybe even threw him into a disposable nuclear waste container like in the other version ectoplasm never mentioned. Judging by the fact that a town screams in silence, that most likely means many people died. The bomb is one aspect we don't have enough information on, so it is hard to determine what actually happened. Anyway, those are my 10 top theories I have for 2 kid friendly.